Greetings, humans. I'm Andy, and I'm Josh, and welcome back to the Windmill of Horses. TesseracT. Legion. But it's not TesseracT, it's TesseracT.
Yeah, because of the big T at the end.
It's a big T sandwich. Because it's a sandwich between two big T's.
So a T is a loaf of bread and a Tesseract is whatever you have inside.
Yeah, which is an Tesseract. Right, so I heard the new album, War of Being, all of it except for this song, because I had to, because that's what you do when you're me. And it's spectacular. And it might be their best work. And I've had a lot of insistence to hear this one by a friend, and I had to put it off until now. And that was annoying. But I'm told it's one of the highlights.
Huh.
And the album is already a collection of highlights, so it's like highlights squared.
War of Being is still the strongest contender for Song of the Year for me. And The Grey was a chonker.
And Grey.
Yes. And Ramen.
Yes. So watch that reaction if you want to get context.
So I'm really curious what they're doing with this one.
Nope. I'm gonna guess he's looking at departures in an airport.
Fill my eyes with blood, stare into the sun, linger just enough to blind us, monastery of hate swells deep and forever. Spectres rise and descend into the river. America, monastery of hate swells deep and forever. Forever, 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 forever.
Dude! His woos make me go woo. He's in an astronaut suit. He really should measure his air. Fair. Kinda glad he didn't though.
things happening.
That's about as cool as atmosphere re-entry soundtracks get. Dude!
Okay, people have been hyping out Dan's vocals, and I can tell why. Because this was pretty varied in terms of instrumentation between the more noodly bits and the chunkier bits and the breakdown moments and all that stuff. But it all felt like background. Yeah, like the vocals were in the forefront of the song. And I think they intended it that way because that's also how they made the video.
Yeah.
Or, you know, maybe the others were just too lazy to get filmed.
Well, it's like, probably, yes. But that doesn't make sense because you have to film Amos. But there's a monotony to it, to the pacing, right? Like it grows bigger, it grows smaller, but that's done only from when the driven guitars come in and from the textures and from a couple of transitions, but the pace is always the same.
Yeah.
So it's got this monotony to it, and you have that in the video because the whole video is his face behind glass, which is a very odd way of phrasing it. Not that kind of glass. And then, yeah, the vocals just go all over the place because you have belting,
Yeah.
you have tender singing, you have lots of head voice, and you have screaming, and you have growling, deeper one. So
Yeah.
that there's like 5 different types of vocal in here.
Yeah, but he really knows how to alternate them.
Yeah.
Like this was one thing I noticed at the end when it kept growing, you know, when the atmosphere re-entry was happening.
Yes.
That you had this feeling like it grew bigger and then bigger again. And the way he did that is like, he had like the head voice and then some screaming vocals in there that kept growing. And then he went back to regular vocals, like more toned down when the riffs hit. So it still gave you that feeling like it got bigger, but then he still had room left to grow again.
Yeah.
When he went back to the more extreme vocals.
Yeah.
So they know how to like push certain elements forward and take others back to give like this constant surge of energy and keep it interesting without having to change it a lot.
Yeah, they also gave that build-up effect by essentially not bringing in the guitars for the entire first verse. He just had that bassy background.
Yeah.
So, yeah. This is one that warrants multiple listens, as everything from Tesseract actually.
And really creative video. How
Yeah.
you could tell everything that was going on just by seeing like the mirrors in his helmet.
He didn't have actual mirrors in his
The
helmet.
mirroring in his helmet.
It's the mirroring. That's a different thing.
The mirroring.
That's not a word.
It is now.
But yeah, it's probably the first time on the Windmill that I go woo when the person on the screen goes woo. Although he goes woo with a little bit more sophistication than I do. Because he's British.
So,
And I'm East European.
so he wooed you.
Look, I told you, if there's anyone in Tesseract I'm gonna go gay for, it's Amos.
Did Amos woo you?
No, I don't think so, but I would woo him. It's a joke. If you happen to be Amos, I'm not wooing you.
I'm not even sure I know what wooing someone means at this point.
Basically like hitting on them, but not really.
Are we done here?
I think so, yeah.
So if you enjoyed this reaction, we greatly appreciate the likes and shares. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe with bells on.
Thank you very much for stopping by. We hope you enjoyed your stay, and we'd love to see you back at the Windmill very soon.
TesseracT.